The world thought she would break, that a young black woman leading a billion-dollar tech company would crumble under the pressure, that she would fold when the investors, the board, and the media turned against her. Dr. Nia Robinson stood on the stage of the Global Innovation Forum, dressed in an emerald green power suit that seemed to glow under the lights, her gaze steady, unflinching, as millions watched online and in person. The contract she held, a $2 billion merger deal, was the single thing that could secure her company's future. Yet it was also the reason everyone thought she was finished. Her former mentor, the same man who had once praised her brilliance and promised to guide her, now leaned back in his chair with a smug smile, whispering to the board members that she wouldn't last 10 minutes. They didn't know. They never knew. She had been preparing for this moment for years, quietly, deliberately, while they celebrated what they thought was her vulnerability. Before we continue, I want to know something about you, the viewers. Where are you watching from? Which city is watching this story unfold with me? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to support these stories, because what comes next is something you don't want to miss. 10 years ago, Nia was a girl from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with nothing but a laptop, a brilliant mind, and a relentless drive to change the world. She had grown up in a neighborhood where opportunities were scarce, and the world seemed to constantly whisper that people like her weren't meant to succeed in spaces reserved for others. But Nia didn't listen. She applied to every program, every incubator, every opportunity, and one day, the impossible happened. A renowned investor saw potential in her AI biotech startup and offered her seed funding. The excitement was immense, but along with the money came advice, conditions, and expectations. She had to prove herself constantly, to work twice as hard, to justify every decision. Within 5 years, her company went from a small garage office to an international powerhouse, known for innovation and precision. But as her influence grew, so did the envy, fear, and prejudice of those around her. Board members began questioning her decisions. Investors whispered that she was too young, too emotional, too black to lead a company of this magnitude. Nia listened, not with fear, but with calculation. She documented every slight, every misleading report, every hidden agenda. She learned patience. She learned strategy. She learned to wait. The public saw a smiling, composed CEO delivering keynote speeches, signing deals, making history, while behind closed doors, the war was quietly being won in her mind. Her mentor, the man who had once called her a prodigy, now undermined her with subtle suggestions and private conversations meant to destabilize her confidence. He had introduced her to new investors who were supposed to support her growth, but instead served as tools in a campaign to take her out. Colleagues, some she had once trusted, spread rumors about her being unfit, reckless, even incapable of handling crises. Yet every move they made, Nia had anticipated. She had access to every email, every financial report, every hidden transaction through systems she had designed herself. They believed she was naive, that she trusted too easily, that she could be intimidated. In reality, she was collecting evidence, connecting dots, building alliances, and preparing for a reckoning that would leave the entire board, every investor, and her former mentor stunned. And then came the moment that would define the next 90 days. It was a late night, and the office was empty except for the soft hum of servers. Nia opened a secure laptop, her fingers gliding across the keyboard with deliberate precision. One by one, she uncovered falsified contracts, embezzled funds, manipulated stock transfers, and secret accounts, all pointing to the people who had tried to destroy her. $147 million in funds siphoned into personal ventures. Shell companies set up to manipulate public perception. Documents forged to question her judgment. Every proof she needed, meticulously compiled, waiting for the right time. Nia didn't act impulsively. She waited. She let them believe they were winning. The board continued plotting. Investors continued whispering. The media continued speculating. Nia was invisible, patient, and unstoppable. Day by day, she reached out to quiet allies, those who had been overlooked, those who had integrity, those who had been silenced before. She sent emails without revealing her identity, arranging meetings, securing loyalty, and ensuring that when the time came, she would have the power to reclaim what was hers. Meanwhile, the world saw only a composed, seemingly unshakable CEO. She smiled for the cameras. She gave speeches, she signed deals, she appeared confident. But in reality, her mind was a chessboard. Every move calculated, every countermeasure prepared. By day 30, she had secured 3 crucial votes on the board without anyone suspecting. By day 60, she had created a digital network linking evidence, allies, and public influence in a way that no one could anticipate. She had even leveraged social media indirectly, sparking subtle narratives that painted her in a heroic, unassailable light. They thought they had silenced her. They thought she would crumble under scrutiny and pressure. But Nia Robinson was not a woman who could be broken. She was a storm that had been quietly gathering strength, a force they would see only when it was too late to stop it. The countdown had begun, the perfect plan in motion, and the world was about to witness a reckoning unlike anything they expected. By day 90, Nia had everything in place. Allies loyal, proof undeniable, and public perception carefully aligned to support her ultimate reveal. And as she walked onto the stage at the Global Innovation Forum, ready to finalize the merger, the audience sensed it an electric tension, a presence that commanded respect and attention. The people who had underestimated her, the investors who had plotted, the mentor who thought himself untouchable, all of them were about to learn a lesson in patience, strategy, and unbreakable will. Nia lifted the pen to sign the final document, the contract that would determine the outcome of her company and her career. She looked into the cameras, into the eyes of the world, and for a brief moment allowed a small, almost imperceptible smile to cross her lips. They thought she was just a CEO. They had no idea she was about to become a legend. The room fell silent as Nia Robinson rolled the stage podium back into place, her emerald suit immaculate, her posture unwavering, the weight of a decade of struggle, betrayal, and preparation resting on her shoulders. Cameras flashed, journalists leaned forward, social media streams lit up in real time, and for the first time, her mentor's confident smirk faltered. He had believed he controlled the narrative, that she was fragile, that the whispers and schemes of the board had weakened her resolve. He was wrong. The first slide appeared behind her on the massive screen, a detailed breakdown of every embezzled dollar, every falsified contract, every manipulated investor report, time-stamped, documented, undeniable. The numbers alone made the room gasp. Millions of dollars siphoned into personal accounts, shell companies used to undercut her authority, secret emails revealing intent to remove her from the company. The board members shuffled in their seats, exchanging worried glances, realizing that the woman they had dismissed as inexperienced, emotional, and replaceable was now in full control. Nia spoke, her voice calm, measured, yet cutting through the tension like a blade. 8 years ago, I was underestimated because of the color of my skin, because I was young, because I was a woman. Today, every attempt to break me has been documented, exposed, and neutralized. This company, the future of innovation, will no longer be hostage to those who doubted me. Her former mentor stood, face pale, heart racing, trying to argue, to interject, to salvage his authority. Nia's eyes met his, and with a quiet, deliberate command, she silenced him. Sit down. You had your chance. I am done listening to excuses and lies. I am here to build, not to beg for approval from those who were never willing to believe in me. One by one, the board members, some who had plotted against her for years, were forced to vote to remove themselves, acknowledging that the company's governance required accountability, integrity, and leadership, not ego, prejudice, and sabotage. Nia's allies, quietly secured over months of preparation, revealed their loyalty, their signatures turning the tide of the vote. Within minutes, the company that had seemed vulnerable, fragile, and under siege was once again fully under her control. The merger contract she had held in her hands was now more than a financial agreement. It was a symbol of victory, strategy, patience, and perseverance. As she turned to the livestream audience, millions online could feel the weight of this moment. Her mentor, humbled and exposed, realized that influence could not replace respect, that manipulation could never outsmart preparation. Social media exploded. Hashtags praising her courage, intelligence, and poise went viral in seconds. Nia Robinson, CEO Queen, unbreakable black woman, trended worldwide. Memes, think pieces, interviews, and commentary flooded every platform. People marveled at how quietly she had prepared, how methodically she had dismantled the narrative constructed against her, and how she had done it without ever resorting to public anger or desperate pleas. But Nia's triumph was more than just revenge. It was restoration. She restored faith in herself, reclaimed the company she built, and sent a clear message to the world that prejudice, discrimination, and doubt could never define her destiny. Days later, she addressed the press, still calm, still composed, still radiant with a quiet, unstoppable power. "I do not share this story to humiliate anyone," she said. "I share it to remind women, particularly women of color, that patience, strategy, and belief in yourself are more powerful than any insult, betrayal, or attempt to undermine you. Your voice, your skills, and your vision are yours. Protect them, nurture them, and never let anyone convince you that you are anything less than capable of extraordinary things." Within a year, Nia had not only solidified her company's success, but had become a symbol of inspiration for millions of women worldwide. Programs were launched to mentor young black female entrepreneurs. Initiatives supporting equity in tech multiplied, and her story was studied in business schools as a masterclass in resilience, intelligence, and leadership. The man who had tried to break her now watched from the sidelines as she expanded the very company he sought to control, proving that legacy is not given, it is earned, meticulously, relentlessly, and with dignity. Nia Robinson had turned betrayal into opportunity, doubt into strategy, and silence into the loudest statement the world could hear. She had become the embodiment of the truth that strength is not always loud, and victory does not always come from confrontation. Sometimes it comes from quiet, relentless preparation. And now, as the sun set over the city skyline, the lights of her offices shining bright, the world knew that a woman who had been underestimated, doubted, and betrayed had emerged not only unbroken, but unstoppable. Her presence commanding respect, her mind untouchable, her legacy secure. To everyone watching this story unfold, remember that your silence, your strategy, and your persistence can be your greatest weapon. Never underestimate the power you hold when you combine patience with intelligence, determination with precision, and integrity with courage. Nia Robinson's story is a reminder that no matter the odds, no matter the prejudice, no matter the attempts to diminish your worth, you can rise, and when you do, the world will see the strength you always had. If you were inspired by this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more incredible tales of resilience, intelligence, and triumph. Hit the like button to support this video. Share it with someone who needs to see that strength is silent but unstoppable. And remember, your story is yours to write. Stand tall, plan wisely, and never let anyone else define what you are capable of achieving.